Anyone in the data field throws around the word ETL all the time. And if you're a beginner data enthusiast, you've probably wondered what that even means. Well, wonder no more. In today's video, we are breaking down ETL, what it is, why it matters, and how you've probably already been doing it without realizing. Hey, it's Ed, and welcome back to Ed Doing Data. So, ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Let's unpack that. Extract simply means getting your data. That could be a CSV file you downloaded, an Excel sheet from your team, or data pulled from a database or an API. Basically, you are collecting your raw materials. Transform is where the real work happens. This is where you clean, fix, and shape your data into something usable. You might remove duplicates, handle missing values, fix inconsistent text, or split columns. In other words, this is where messy data becomes usable. And finally, load. That's the stage where you take your cleaned, transformed data and send it somewhere else. That could be Power BI for visualization, a SQL database, or even another Excel sheet for reporting.
Now, let's see its action. We begin the first process in the ETL, which is extract. But before that, we need to get our data set. Now, I know there are multiple websites for getting raw data sets, but what I mostly like to use is Kaggle. So we go to Kaggle, and then we search for our data sets. We'll be using coffee, cereals, data sets. Okay, next. As we wait for it to load. Yes, and now we go through and choose the data sets. Yeah, so this part of Kaggle describes the columns, describes the data set as a whole, the number of columns, and number of columns and the type of columns. So these are the columns, and you can see that the time column isn't included in the original download. So if you want to toggle it, then we select 11 out of 11. 11 out of 11. So then we apply. Then we hit download. Then we download it as a zip file. So go into our downloads, we locate the zip file, and then we extract. And that is it. Getting your data from Kaggle. And now the next thing is to open Excel. The next thing is to open Excel. And then this begins the ETL process. This is the extract process. So to do that, we have to get our data. So we navigate to the data tab. And then this section shows how to get your data. Are we getting it from a file, from a database, from Azure, online services, from other sources. Yeah. So since ours is a series, we choose this option and then we import from text or CS. So yes, this is the extraction process. So as you can see, we have done the extraction. We have managed to pull the data sets into Excel file. So we transform it. This begins the transform process.
We begin the transform process by first inspecting the entire dataset, and we do that by going column by column. We do this in order to see which errors need to be made, which cleaning needs to be performed on the dataset. So they inspect the first column, and as we can see, there are blank rows in there. These would need to be cleaned either by removing or by filling them with non-available or NA. These also has columns. Moving on to the third column, we can see that they also have blank rows in there. And also, by eyeballing, we can see that for the money, some are supposed to be dots, but there are commas in there to separate the cents from the dollars. These are formatting issues that will need to be dealt with. We move on and by checking each of the columns, each of the remaining columns as well. We do that to confirm the availability of blanks in there. So this is the transform process as a whole. We identify the errors that are in the data set. We identify what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be removed, what needs to be replaced, formatting issues, and everything that we will need to make on our data set in order for it to be clean. So the first transform activity we will be performing is using the find and replace button. This is very important in the transform process as it is used to normalize entire columns. So earlier when we were making our initial overview of the data sets, we found that in the money column there are some commas instead of decimals, and so we will deal with them. This is where the find and replace comes in play. So to perform this task, all we have to do is go to the home tab and then locate, find, and select, and hit on replace. So this brings up the find and replace box, and then we go on by putting what we want to find and what we want to replace with. In this case, we are looking for the commas and replacing them with decimals. So we select the column in which we want to make this find and replace, and then we hit on find all. This finds all instances where there are commas in that particular column. And we scroll through and inspect, and we can see that these actually come out. Then we hit on replace all, and we can see that it's all done and we made 10 replacements. So when we go back to inspect the columns, we can see that now all the commas are gone, and now everything has been formatted to include decimals instead of columns. So we move on to the next process in the transform stage, and straight away we notice that in the coffee column some names begin with small letters while most of the rest begin with capital. This is a formatting error,
and we will need to deal with it. So in order to deal with naming errors such as this, we first insert a column right next to it. Then we rename this column as, say, coffee name cleaned. Then we use the function proper. What this function does is that for every entry in the column, it begins every word with a capital. That is what proper does. So it's a function embedded in Excel. So we use this function, and then we select the column name, the cell name. We select the cell name, and then we hit enter. So straight away we notice that every entry in every cell now begins with a capital letter, from latte to hot chocolate. And when we do the comparison, you can see those in the original column that have small letters now begin with capital letters in the new column. So then we hide the old column, and then we move on with the newly created column. And now we move to the dates column. First of all, we set the entire column to match our desired date formats. This is to better address the inconsistencies found in the data. So we filtered it out, and you can see that there are some that don't match our date format. So we filter out the correct formats, including the blank rows, leaving out the inconsistencies to deal with. So from this narrowed down data sets that we have, we can clearly see which entries need cleanup. So normally there's a Power Query code that we can use to address the entire data set, the entire column, but we are not there yet. So we will manually fix this. So we just clear the entire row and then manually enter the correct date that we want. So we move it from a year, month, day into a day, month, year. Now let's quickly do the same for the rest of the entries in the column. And that is it. As you can see, the entire data set has been formatted to match one format. The date column has been transformed. Our final stage in the transform process would be to remove the blank rows in the entire data set. As we saw earlier, all of the columns have blank rows, so we'll need to be dealing with them one column at a time. Starting from the first column, we filter out the rest, leaving only the blank rows. Against the 18 rows. But in this case, the column is hours, and we don't really know the hour of the day in which this particular coffee was sold. So it would be best to just delete them. Normally, we can do this by highlighting the rows and then going to delete and then selecting entire rows. So yes, that's it, all done. We then filter it back out, and then we do the same for the rest of the columns. And that's our transform phase all done. We've turned messy, inconsistent data into something clean and structured. And now for load. In this case, that simply means saving this clean data set, maybe exporting it to Power BI or saving it as a clean Excel file for further analysis. And to do that, we simply go to Files, Save As, choose a location on our PC, and then save the file as Excel. Choose a suitable name for the file, and then just hit save. And there you are. ETL sounds like some complex enterprise process, but it's really just a structured way of describing what we do in everyday data projects. Extract your data, transform it, and load it wherever you need it. If this helped you finally understand ETL, drop a comment and tell me what tool you use most for cleaning your data. And if you are learning data analysis, hit subscribe, because in the next video, we will build a simple dashboard using this same clean data set. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's learn, build, and share. And as usual, this is it doing data.